All right, so I'm here with TJ DeVries, the creator of Neovim Telescope and Neovim maintainer extraordinaire, also the person who happens to be working on the Neovim version of Cody, but we'll get to that later. But yeah, TJ, welcome to the show.
Glad to be here. Always ready to shill Neovim, so I'm here today.
I love it. All right, so today we're going to do kind of a deep dive into Telescope, which is this extension that you created. And it's very popular, and it's also very awesome. I've seen demos of it, and honestly, it's the sort of thing that makes me want to switch to Vim because it's the coolest thing ever.
Good idea.
And in addition to that, we have the benefit of using Cody, our new AI coding assistant. And so I think first thing we're going to do is compare the human responses to the robot responses. So, Tej, in your own words, what does Telescope do?
Telescope is a generic fuzzy finder that allows you to fuzzy find over basically whatever you want, custom written for Neovim so that people can extend and explore in whatever way they like to do.
All right, cool. Let's compare your answers to what Cody would say. Share my screen real quick. All right, so this is the repository on GitHub. But instead of reading through all the docs, I'm just going to pop over to SourceGraph, and we got Cody open on the side here. I'm going to ask Cody, what is Telescope?
I hope it just says it's something you can look at the sky with.
Yeah. All right, so it knows that we're not talking about
Nice.
the sky looking instrument,
Mm-hmm.
and that's because it's reading the files in this repository. So let's look at what it read. It read through a bunch of stuff: the README, this TXT file, some Lua files as well, and it says telescope.nvim. It's a highly extendable fuzzy finder over lists built on the latest awesome
Mm-hmm.
features from Neovim Core. Telescope is centered around modularity, allowing for easy customization. Allows you to search, filter, find, pick things in Lua. Main features are community-driven built-in pickers, sorters, and previewers. That's pretty cool. What are some of the community built pickers?
Well, basically, those are all like they just ship by default built in into Telescope. So, as many things as we can think of that like are built into Neovim's API, like key maps or auto commands or highlights or whatever the things are like just built in that you wouldn't have to do anything special for. We tried to
Yeah.
write as many of those as we possibly could to include.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. So would you say this is generally accurate?
Yeah, looks good. Those are all things you can actually do with it as well.
How does it compare to this thing called FZF? I've heard of that before.
So FCF's really awesome. I think it's a really cool tool. FCF runs like anywhere, right? So you could run it outside of Neovim. Telescope
Yeah.
is like specifically made and designed to run inside of Neovim.
Mm-hmm.
Um, FCF is like in general, like faster for sure, and does a lot more fancy things with like threading and the things that you get easily with Go that are not so
Mm-hmm.
simple to do in like Lua, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we have some extensions that let you have the exact same filtering syntax and matching syntax as FCF, so same like algorithm. And that's
See.
actually written in C and loaded as like a shared library. So Telescope is
Oh,
still
cool.
like it's fast enough for me on even on like big projects. But you can run FCF from anywhere, and it's more of like how would you say more Unix style tool.
Got it. Got it. All right, cool. So that was the human answer. Now
Yep.
let's ask Cody. What's the difference between SEF and Telescope? Hmm? Yeah. Wow, it knows a lot about Telescope.
Those are good.
Yeah. It didn't really say much about FCF.
The last sentence, it gave a little bit of info about it.
Yeah. Interesting. I wonder if that's a case where we could add an additional repository to the
You'd want to
context
look
window.
for Unigoons or however you say his actual. I'm not sure how to say his name.
Let's see. This fellow,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Do we have the project index? Oh, it's not indexed. Okay, let me go index it real quick. So one question I really want to ask is, uh, taking inspiration from Twitter these days. So Telescope is awesome, but most people use it wrong. What are 7 tips and tricks for using Telescope?
That's a good question to ask an embedding and like an ML model. That's actually pretty funny.
Oh, well, it's given a very matter of fact answer.
Yeah.
It's given more than 7 too.
Wow, it's got a lot of ideas for tips, I guess.
It couldn't hold back.
No. Mm-hmm.
One thing I found with language models is they're generally bad at counting.
They are
Or
pretty bad at counting.
yeah. Okay.
I do like
Cool.
that it even says here are 7 tips and tricks. And it didn't even give like 8. It gave 10. It wasn't even like off by 1.
Yeah, seriously. All right, so would you say these are generally good tips and tricks?
Yeah,
Let's
you
see.
should use the built-in mappings. That seems good. And
Okay.
customizing mappings, you definitely can. That is the
Okay.
right place to customize them.
Cool.
Press on an entry. We don't really press on entries in Neovim land. That's like some some VS code kind of stuff. You wouldn't press on one. You might press enter. Learn how to use the selection multi-selections. Yep, you can do that. That's true. There are a lot of built-in pickers. You can do that. You can write your own. Those are also really good. The API is simple. I appreciate that. Thank you, Cody. We did our best. Um, Caching in the setup that seems made up. I don't think that that's real.
Oh,
A
interesting.
number 7.
Yeah.
Ironic, since it was 7. Well, maybe there's only 7 real tips. Maybe it's trickiness.
Right, right.
Um, yeah, you can use built-in actions. That's true. Those are good. That is the best way to customize your own pickers.
Mm-hmm.
There are great extensions, and read the docs. Good. Agreed, Cody. Reading the
Cool.
docs is good.
Got it. All right, let's go over to the embeddings thing. Okay, it's completed. So now we can add it as an additional piece of context.
Nice.
What's the difference between telescope and SEF?
I'm interested to see what it'll say for this one.
Yeah. Ooh, both fuzzy finders, but there's some key differences.
Nice. Those are true differences.
All right.
I
Is
don't
this
think that's
true?
true. It does the opposite of that.
Oh, interesting.
Like FCF, you can always fuzzy. That's like the whole point of it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's
It has a
interesting.
way to make exact string matching. Like there is syntax for it, but like
Hmm.
that's not the default thing.
Yeah, I mean, it is a fuzzy finder after all.
Yeah, it's kind of the point. Yeah.
Okay, what about this one? Additional features like search and git repos.
That's not true. FCF is just a generic like fuzzy finder, right? So you have to pipe
Hmm.
anything you want inside of it. Like FCF Vim or FCF like other FCF integrations like do this, right? But FCF the tool is literally like pipe stuff into standard out, get
Yep.
or standard in,
Yep.
get like some input and then give you the output. So it's like very Unix style, really
I
like
see.
elegant style, I think.
Okay. Some better
Yeah, that's
performance. That's
certainly true.
valid.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Although I mean they're slow compiled languages, but that's the parlance people would usually use, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we should just rewrite the entire world in Lua, right?
I mean, maybe better than eLisp, but
Ooh, shots fired.
well, you can still write Lisp. You just write fennel, and then like it'll compile the Lua. So that seems like the best of both worlds for you.
I don't even know what fennel is. What is
It's just
fennel?
a Lisp dialect. Yeah,
Let's see if Cody knows. Oh, there you go.
nice. Yeah, it'll look very familiar.
Oh, yes. All the parentheses.
Mm-hmm.
I feel at home.
It's a good language. It's a cool idea. Like Lua is a nice like target to compile to in a sense,
Yeah,
right? Because like you can run Lua everywhere, and a bunch of things already use Lua, so you basically just get to pretend that you're writing Lisp all the time.
cool. All right, so if I'm a developer, I go to Telescope. I'm already sold on Telescope, but the next question I
Nice.
would have is how do I use it? So let's see if Cody can give us a good answer.
Put. I'm just waiting for a one type like put eye to telescope. Look towards sky.
Yeah.
Nice. Those are good.
Cool. Well, it looks like we have some formatting issues.
Yeah, just
Uh,
forgot a space there, but
yep.
that's fine. Yeah, those are good. Yep.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, in fact, like that's a nice call out. Not everybody notices right away, as you can do it from sort of like the command line style or directly from Lua,
Yep.
and they're pretty interchangeable. So it's a good
Okay.
option.
Cool. So just to give people an idea, there's this nice animated GIF
Mm-hmm.
showing Telescope in action.
Yeah, one of the cool things about it is like the preview on the right side there is exactly how it'll look when you open the file because it's a Neovim
Mm,
buffer, right? So
that's
there's like a
cool.
lot of stuff where you get exactly the same color scheme and all these other things that makes it feel very cohesive compared to using like I like I said I like FCF a lot, but
Yeah.
the default way that you're doing a lot of things with FCF, it like gets highlighted with some external tool, right? Because
Yeah.
it's if you have preview on for it. So I think there's stuff like that that just makes it feel really. Oh, I like how it looks exactly the same as when I was going to do that.
That's awesome. And is this the floating windows that it
That
referenced
is, yeah.
earlier?
hmm
That's
We
cool.
have a bunch of different like layouts. You know, we have an Ivy style layout because we want to trick the Emaxers into coming over. You know, we've got drop down and a bunch of different styles. So all of the sort of UI stuff is completely decoupled from how we actually like write sort of the finder and sorter and all those kind of things.
Yeah, yeah, it makes sense. See, in Emacs, we wouldn't even need floating windows because I would just open up a browser inside the Emacs thing, and then inside the browser, I could open like an iframe, and that would be
Nice.
sufficient. But you know,
There you go.
to
That sounds really fast.
yeah, no, it's blazing fast. Startup takes a little bit of time, but
hmm Nice.
all right, cool. Okay, so let's say we're interested in like diving into how the source code works. So I wonder if Cody can answer this. This is a little bit trickier. Which file should I take a look at in Telescope if I'm just diving in? All right, what do we think of these?
Yeah, those are pretty good. Um, they're like, I mean, it's a little hard to say because you I don't know what you want to try and do with it. There's a lot that happens with telescope, right? But I think
Yeah,
like the telescope init and some things like that. Like there's that first file I think is actually hallucinated, but
yeah, I
that's
made
fine.
that up. That's interesting.
It's a common sort of like trickery thing maybe because like telescope slash init.lua is the same thing as if you had telescope.lua in terms
Oh,
of how you
interesting.
require it. So it
Yep,
looks like there exists some file called telescope.lua.
I see. If it's like
But the
reading like
other ones are
imports.
good. They all exist.
Okay, cool.
The best one to start with is the docs, of course.
All right, so I'm interested in understanding how Telescope works underneath the hood. So, how does Telescope work underneath the hood? So, looking for kind of like an architectural explanation. Let's see if I can get it to generate something good.
We have a few ASCII diagrams, so we'll see.
Yeah, interesting. Well, let's try having it explain one of these ASCII diagrams.
Oh, nice. It's pretty good overview.
Okay, interesting. Okay, we take a user input, we pass the query to a finder, which
Hmm.
finds matches. Okay, and then okay, we get back a list of entries. Uh, okay, got it. So you have a matcher, then there's like a sorting phase, and
Yep.
everything's like pluggable, right? So
Yep.
like the
Each
okay,
of the things. So you can, if you want to do a different sorting algorithm or you want to do different sorting algorithms for different pickers, you can totally do all of that, or different finders or whatever. Yep.
okay, cool. So it's like finding, sorting, and then picking. Those are like the three
Yeah,
main
picker is sort
stages.
of like the all-encompassing one. It manages the interplay of each of the different interfaces, basically.
Okay, cool.
And those are the names, like finders. That's how you can do something like, find files, or something like find all the workspace symbols, or
Yep,
find errors, or just pass a Lua list of whatever you want to sort.
yep.
And then sorters, yep, entries are just the tables, and then actions are what you basically, they're built-in things that you can do to change what you want to run. This is a pretty good ASCII diagram here. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, try to explain the ASCII diagram. The flowchart and the snippet you shared illustrates this architecture.
Hmm.
Okay, got it. Let me try. Let's see if we can get it to explain what's actually happening in the flowchart.
Ooh, nice.
This would be very hard. I'd actually be surprised if it gets this. Just say
Yeah, let's see
detailed.
it detailed.
Okay, that's the start of the flowchart. Nice job, Cody.
Nice. Nice.
Okay, let's.
I
All
like
right.
how it's trying to put it on each line. That's a pretty good diagram, though.
It really is. Did you use any sort of tool to generate it?
Probably just drawing.
Really? Wow, handcrafted.
There's one, I don't know if we used it or not when we made it, but there's a few pretty nice like drawing plugins that you can do in Neovim, where you like select a region and you can press a button and then it fills it in with a box and stuff like
That's
that.
cool.
Yeah. This indicates the end of the flowchart. I like that. The last
Thank
one.
you. We did ask for detail.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, it correctly identifies multi-select. I'm looking at some. Okay, manager component passes entries downwards. Where is the manager? Uh,
Yeah,
did
you
it
just add your
hallucinate?
it's on like line 23 and 24.
Oh, here. Yeah,
Yep. So like a
downward
font. Yep. It goes to the picker. Yep.
to the picker. But this says it passes entries downward to the fine. Oh, interesting. Yeah, this is a little bit unreliable. I wonder if we do. Let's try doing high level explanation.
Yeah, maybe it's trying to break down the line by line for it. Oh, nice. Now
Oh,
we're
this is
talking.
better. Yeah,
This is much better. It even is like yoinking part of the document. Looks good, actually.
yeah. Ooh, the rendering here kind of had a little
It's
trouble
it's
here.
doing its best. Yeah, it's doing its best. Okay, well, what did it say this time?
Scroll back up. Okay, multi-select.
No, that's not a main component. Like it's gonna say the main components. No, that's not true.
No. Well, on the chart it looks main.
Sure.
Yeah. I wonder, did it read any other files? I guess nothing
Oh,
that
nice.
would.
It did pick the right. You mean you should look at pickers to understand what it should do. I
Hmm,
mean that's true.
that's cool. Okay, so picker is the main UI that shows results. That
True.
accurate?
True.
Okay. Selected entry represents currently selected entry. The results buffer displays the list of entries. The prompt is the user input.
True.
Okay. Then you got the preview. Okay, cool. And then the finder generates the result. Oh no, that's not right, right? The finder should happen earlier.
Right, so the finder generates a result which the sorter displays. That's true. So like on every prompt, you can optionally like generate completely new results or things like that. Like it doesn't have to start with one list and then always get narrowed down. So like that
I
is
see.
true.
I see.
Um yeah,
Okay,
or
got
they
it.
can like completely change. Like I have one where I do grep and if I put two spaces in it, I can type a file ending and then it'll filter down to only those files. So if I type, like
Hmm.
my cool function and then do space L, I have a shortcut for Lua, then it will
Mm-hmm.
like only do it to Lua files. And then if I backspace and do star.go, it would only show it in Go files. So they can like
Cool.
completely change on any keystroke.
Cool. That's awesome. Seems very modular.
That's the goal.
Awesome.
I want to see if it can ask it to write like a picker that, you know, where I just pass in a list of strings that I want to pick from or something like that. I'm interested to see what it tries to do for that one.
Yeah.
Nice, that's pretty good.
It looks pretty good.
Yeah,
Let's
that would
compare it
probably
with one of the
work.
existing pickers.
It's not exactly like that. We don't have what I mean. Like, what would you do with it? It's just gonna. It doesn't
Yeah.
know. Then you could say like, say maybe now like make it print the result after I've chosen it. Because like right now, it's not really gonna do anything with it, but it is like that
Mm-hmm.
is good. Nice, very nice. That's good.
This
So
looks
now,
good.
like, what it does is when it attaches a mapping, it's going to replace whatever the default selection keybind is. That's what
Mm.
this attach mappings is. And then it says, hey, get the currently selected entry, print it, and then close it. That's pretty good. There may be like one or two things that don't exactly work that way, but I think off the top of my head that would work. It doesn't have all the like requires that you would need to do to load everything up.
Yeah.
You could just ask it like, what do I need to require to run this code? But that's pretty good.
Cool.
It's definitely like the right shape of what you would want to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you had that, you'd definitely be able to like change what you wanted to do to something else.
Yeah. Like get you in the right ballpark.
Mm-hmm.
Does that look right?
That did not really require the things that that you wanted, but that's okay.
Yeah. I wonder if we just like copy pasted this. It'd
Right? I
probably do a
maybe
better
didn't
job.
understand what I meant by this code
Yeah.
because of the additional context.
All right. Let's try that.
That looks
That look
better.
better?
It's
Okay.
still missing some, but it's a lot closer now.
Okay. Cool.
You would be able to, I think, solve it after doing that because you just see that there are a few variables that don't exist, but that's
Yeah.
pretty close.
Cool. So one thing I want to try is just like picking a random issue and asking Cody to help fix it, seeing what
Okay,
the response looks like. So which one of these centering cursor? Does that seem like a reasonable?
sure.
All right.
I think we already have something for this, so someone should be able to just like do that. So, yeah.
All right. Okay. Just gonna paste this in. All right, I'm going to try to understand a little
Yeah.
bit of what I pasted in. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Centering cursor when selecting with current buffer fuzzy find. So this person wants to center the cursor when they select something.
Yeah. Basically, like after they press enter on this like picker, they want it to be centered, right? Like they want their cursor to be in the center of the rows.
I
So
see, I
like,
see.
don't put it on the last or
Yep.
top line or something like that.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, so they gave an example, which
Yeah,
I'm
they
wondering if
fixed it
there's.
for themselves, but like, there's a
Okay.
better way than that.
Okay, so Cody suggested a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you think of Cody's suggestion
Yeah,
here?
it's fine. It's pretty much exactly the same. So like, there's not.
Oh,
It's
okay.
still not that good. There's still a cooler way that you could do it.
What's the cooler way?
Ask Cody if it can be written with composing actions. So like the cool thing with actions, I don't think with works like
Interesting.
that.
Is it composing actions? Have they been around for a while, or are they like a recent?
They've been around for a long time. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Huh.
So like I would say that you can actually just like literally add the two functions together, and we have examples of that in the repo. Which is like
Okay.
you can literally just add actions.select default plus actions.center. I don't know what I would call it. Like I'm just like that's how you would compose an action. Like you just add them together, I guess.
Oh,
I
I
don't know
see.
what
So
else.
composing actions isn't like a standard term, but it's
Right.
just describing what's
So
happening.
this is what I was thinking it would guess.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
So it like these are examples of what you can do to literally like you could take select default plus, center, and then that would work. So there's no reason to like add anything different to telescope. We already have the building blocks to like solve the example issue.
Oh, that's awesome. And so,
Yeah.
like adding them together, just like change these. It just like will
Just makes
automatically.
them run one and then the next one. Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Thanks. I
All
was
right, let's
pretty
try a
pleased
different
when I
issue.
wrote that. I wrote most of
Yeah.
the code by hand on paper because I was pretty excited about it, but I wasn't at a computer.
It just inspiration struck you while you were away from
Yeah, I
keyboard.
was just somewhere else. I couldn't write, or I wasn't at a computer, but I was pretty sure that it would work. And then, sure enough, implemented it later when I got to sit down.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You should you frame that piece of paper. It's gonna be
Oh, it's
worth.
gone.
Oh.
I know. It lives on inside of Telescope to this day.
All right, let's try one more bug. Okay, let's try a non-trivial but still manageable issue.
Options to configure user-defined layout. That seems cool.
Okay, let's try that. Okay, currently I can adjust only some values of a few default strategies. Okay, I can't change the width, height, position for each prompt. Okay, so they want to. What do you think of this?
I don't think we have that like in existence. I suppose that's like a possible solution.
Yeah. So
Um,
there's no like custom layout mechanism in.
there is like, but this isn't how it just maybe isn't like as exposed as what the suggestion is. Like, so we already have layout strategies that people can do. I'd have to look up, I guess, and check how we
Oh,
actually
here, yeah,
load each
layout
one.
strats.
Yeah, so we have like several different ones already in existence.
I see.
But this person wants to be able to make their own. But I don't remember. I don't think that this isn't what I would pick to solve it basically.
Got
Because
it. Got it.
I think like just throwing a bunch more random stuff into their setup function is like a pretty poor way to do it. It doesn't like compose well with other people wanting to add that same layout
Yep.
strategy or like install that as a plugin and then be able to consume theirs as well.
Yep.
So I would like think of a different way to do it. Right now, the way that you could probably do it would be you could just, since it's Lua and everything's just tables and mutability is expected, you could just modify the result of like requiring the layout strategies file and like
Yep.
insert in place a new layout strategy with a name that you were confident we would never pick, like Emacs is cool or something like that. You know, like obviously that one's not getting like added into Telescope. So yeah, so that would be like my current strategy of how I would do it without thinking about it too much. I haven't looked at layout strategies in a while.
Okay, got it. So like this way, you might be able to like hack something together that works, but it wouldn't be like the right way to.
Yeah,
Um,
you well like there's I think Cody's suggesting like a possible design solution, but like
got
not
it.
didn't write the solution, right? It's just like here's what you could
Right,
do, but
right.
that's not really like what that's not how I would fix it.
Okay, cool. All right. Let's see what else. I think we're at the end of time here. Anything else you want to ask Cody about Telescope?
Um I don't know what's something that you fuzzy find that you would want to write, and like what do you fuzzy find over anything? Try and ask it if it can either write one or if it exists already.
Oh, like a fuzzy finding query.
Yeah, or like like oh I want to find like how would I look for files that have unstaged changes with Telescope or something like that.
Oh yeah, that's. Oh, why don't we just ask that? How do I look for files with unstaged changes and are written in Go with Telescope?
The first half is like we have one. Nice, that's pretty good.
Hmm, cool.
Nice, that looks pretty good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, I got one last question. I want
Oh,
to ask
nice.
it. Is what or what? Why did Tej write Telescope? Let's see if
I
Cody
don't
can
know if
peer
it knows who
inside.
teaches since I'll be TJ DeVries in Git, but
Oh, it does
okay.
know who you are. It
Oh, uh-oh.
knows.
Uh-oh.
It's gained sentience.
It's pretty good. These are pretty good answers though.
Control C.
Yeah, right, yeah. Shut it down.
Yeah, it didn't work. Control D.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay, so you would generally agree with these reasons?
Yeah, I think number two is like the main reason. Like one thing that I felt like
Mm.
so there are some projects that have come out that solve like some of the things that I was interested in exploring
Mm-hmm.
since, but like the reason I made Telescope was like let's say you want to sort and like attach a Lua function to one of the things.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's very hard to serialize and deserialize, right? Because
Yeah.
what are you going to serialize? And so
Yep.
like worrying about serialization and how things are serialized is like kind of annoying, right? So
Yeah.
it's cool if instead what you can do is basically like say, "Hey, I would really like to be able to just extend and customize this easily and just like pass Lua things around," right? So I think
Yep.
that's pretty much like why I didn't set out to make a popular fuzzy finder. We were just making it on stream to play around with it and like explore shortcomings in Neovim Lua API.
Mm.
Because I was adding lots of things at the time and like pushing the boundaries of a lot of different Lua stuff. And it just like happened to be that I made something that I really enjoyed using. And then apparently other people did too. We recently crossed 10K stars, which was pretty cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's the best way to create stuff. It's like scratching
Yeah.
your own itch and also
Mm-hmm.
using it to play around with other APIs.
Yeah. And now I use it like, I don't know, hundreds of times a day. I'm not really sure.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. All right, cool. Oh, one last thing. So speaking of pushing the boundaries, one of the things that you're working on currently is baking this AI coding assistant into Neovim as an extension. So do you want to talk about how that's going and what you're excited about and what people can expect once that's released?
Yeah. So I have been working on our like Cody integration with Neovim. I'm pretty excited about basically a lot of the stuff that I think LLMs are good at is just getting context and then like mapping that to some higher dimensional space that happens to be already indexed some other place. So it turns out when you have tools, I'm gonna just shill source graph, I mean whatever. Right? But like when you have tools that help you connect or like map those ideas to other like things in context with embeddings or with precise graph or whatever as we get further on those. I
Yep.
think LLMs are really good at providing the context for that. I don't think the current iteration of LLMs is like amazing at just reasoning out of thin air what your code
Yeah.
base does without being able to read your whole code base.
Yeah.
So putting that like at my fingertips inside of Neovim is fun, and also just like being able to easily add, context or do other stuff. I think that's what's really cool for me. And I'm excited to see where that goes next. Current status is that I'm using it like every day, I guess.
Yeah.
And within the next, I don't know when we're releasing this, but within the next few weeks, you'll probably see a like more formal release and be more integrated tightly with what some of the other editors that we're supporting are. So yeah,
Yeah, that's
that's where it's
awesome.
at today.
All right, cool. I'm looking forward to trying that out. I'll have to switch over to Neovim
Nice.
to access it.
Permanently. You heard it here first.
Permanently. Well, I mean, we're working on an Emacs extension too, but it's gonna be released
It's still
after.
loading. Yeah, I
Unfortunately,
know.
it's still.
I still can't believe I picked to work at a place where both the founders are Emacs people. Like, what are the odds? Like it's not good. There's like 12 of you, so
I still can't believe there's so many Vim users. I don't know how we let this
yeah,
happen.
yeah, it wasn't
Like
obviously not screening for culture fit.
yeah.
Yeah,
All right, awesome. Thank you so much for spend some time diving into Telescope,
yeah,
and very much looking forward to the Neovim Cody extension. So look out for that if you're watching this. It should be available soon.
yeah.
All right, thanks,
Sourcegraph
TJ.
slash SGNVim is where you can find it because it also has all of our stuff for just like natively doing search and opening Sourcegraph links and all that those kind of goodies inside one plugin.
Cool, awesome.
Yeah,
All
sweet.
right, thanks, man.
See ya.
Good chatting.